Crowan back with Rias Neo once again for the Manifest Destiny versus R.E.P.O match. For this one, Manifest Destiny has brought 2 Tengus, one Caldari Navy Raven, 1 Basilisk, 2 Rooks, 2 Cormorants, a Thrasher, and a Badger Mark II.
And it looks like R.E.P.O has brought a Legion, 2 Abaddons, 2 Harbingers, and 2 Brutixes. A lot of damage on that side.
Yeah, and we're seeing the R.E.P.O team came in very close to the beacon, and the Manifest Destiny not so close, either 40 or 50 kilometers away. Obviously, hoping to make the most of range with their, logistics missile-based setup.
You know, say what you want, Manny is an awesome team. And why are they an awesome team? Because they have a Badger Mark II. That Badger Mark II won them the last match.
True.
And speaking of matches, this one is now underway, seeing a little bit of movement here. And
how much, though?
Not a whole lot of movement.
Here we go. Now we're seeing the R.E.P.O team. Obviously, they're going to need to close a bit of range before they're able to get there. And we're looking at... are those damps?
I hope those are damps. If those are not damps and those are tracking disruptors, they are wasting some capacitor right now. Yeah. Unless they're... tracking disrupting the Thrasher.
Yeah, and we're seeing some heavy shield maintenance bots out for Manifest, and one of those Harbingers already in deep trouble, just getting absolutely pounded by the incoming missiles here, and it could be going down very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the Navy Raven issue, getting the 7 turret slots for launchers, obviously does a whole lot of damage. It's known for mostly its mission running prowess, but it's definitely no slouch at PvP. It really is a fantastic PvP ship. I can't see if it's using torps or cruise missiles just yet.
I would think to do that much damage, they would have to be cruise. I'm not seeing any torp animations right now on the screen, but... maybe, I don't know, maybe it's blaster fit. We should probably take a look.
Probably not. Now, Mr. Clock dropping very quickly, so we've got 2 Harbingers down. That's a whole lot of damage that R.E.P.O is going to be missing. They are starting to get a little bit of damage onto, of all things, the Badger Mark II. Now, this could end up being a point of pride, but as we saw in the previous match, probably not a very good idea to kill that Badger II. It definitely cost the Kadeshi, a win in their last match.
Absolutely, and in the we're seeing one of those Brutixes now in deep armor as well. And in the last match, I saw the fit. They posted the fit for this Badger Mark II, and even though it never ran out of shields, or very infrequently ran out of shields in that match, it was actually passively armor tanked. Now we've lost that Brutix. I'm not sure what the fascination with the Badger is. Now they've switched to the Rook. Apparently, they're not falling for the free candy sign on the Badger anymore, and have just decided to shoot something useful. And the Rook now out of shields.
Yeah, going for that Rook, a really good choice for the FCs on the R.E.P.O team. Obviously, they know that Badger's not going to be easy to kill, although it does seem to be taking some more damage as the Rook goes down. If they're smart, they're going to go after that second Rook, and hopefully they're doing something to mitigate the ability of that Basilisk to lock things.
Yeah, one would hope. But it looks like it's not working if they are, because the Basilisk is quite clearly shield transferring at this point. The Rook, though, still at a net loss for shield at this point as it's dropping further and further, and the Abaddon now out of shield. The Legion, though, still standing strong, as well as the 2 Abaddons. So, I mean, there's still quite a bit of damage out there on the field for the R.E.P.O team.
Yeah, I mean, R.E.P.O, obviously as the Rook goes down, losing those 2 Brutixes and those 2 Harbingers was a lot of damage. I'm curious to see whether or not that Legion is fielding a remote rep setup, because if it is, it seems like that strategy not paying off so well.
Kind of failing? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he does seem to be launching missiles, so it's entirely possible that he was remote repping and maybe jammed the whole time.
Yeah, it is possible. Also possible. We're seeing him, it looks like the Legion is now shooting the Badger. And now one of the Abaddons for R.E.P.O taking some damage. Now the Badger is down. We'll see if there was free candy inside after all. Doesn't look like it, however.
Moon candy.
Yeah, maybe moon candy, but not real candy. The Abaddon's still taking a steady amount of damage. We'll see now what they decide to switch targets to here. Some of the more obvious targets down, like the clearly deadly Badger Mark II. Now that Abaddon, looks like the CNR is actually neuting that Abaddon, which is why he's not shooting at the moment, actually.
Yeah, I mean, R.E.P.O doing some damage to the cruisers for Manifest Destiny. Once that Badger had dropped, they dropped, the 2 Cormorants, and leaving the Thrasher alone for right now, probably trying to focus their damage somewhere where it might be a little more effective. The Abaddon, in low armor, taking some structure damage, probably not going to last a whole lot longer. Those neutralizers, quite possibly, preventing him from shooting. Oh, there he's getting
firing
a couple
now.
shots off.
He's firing now. They're both firing at the Caldari Navy Raven, who is taking shield damage very quickly now. He's already down to about half. He's got shield drones on him. I don't see an active tank. And the Basilisk is... where is the Basilisk? It's sitting off in the corner doing nothing, so well done. As the Caldari Navy Raven is now out of shields, maybe it's armor tanked as well. Maybe it's Omni tanked. But we have lost that Abaddon.
Yeah, a little speechless if they actually armor tank this thing. But it looks like that's not armor tanked. It looks like that Raven Navy issue is going to go down, although it is getting a couple reps here and there. Not only a big wallet loss, but a lot of DPS if they do lose that ship. The Tengu's still probably able to pull a win out of this, but losing that Raven will hurt their damage. It could either extend the game or possibly, unlikely, but possibly change things for the better for R.E.P.O.
Yeah, and now that Basilisk is remote repping the Raven, clearly listening to us and realize that's what you're supposed to do in one of those. But and it is pulling back just a little bit of shield, but that Raven has already leaked into structure at this point. The Legion and the Abaddon now both taking a little bit of damage, both into armor once again. Looks like the Legion is now the focus. He's painted up and taking a lot of missile fire.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the use of the Legion was in this particular gang, whether or not they were running it with links, or whether or not they were using it for the ability to remote rep. I've played around on EFT and some on CC with the Legion, but I just don't recognize those subsystems.
I think he's here to look cool at this point.
He definitely looks cool.
And he's definitely not accomplishing much more than that at the moment. He is launching missiles at that Raven, and it is keeping that tank suppressed despite the Basilisk. And there might be enough to bring it over the tipping point, but now those newts are on the remaining Abaddon, so his firing has become a little bit more erratic, and he's having to conserve his cap and shoot that Raven in bursts, basically. And it's going to be a race at this point to see if they can bring that Raven down before the Legion.
Well, and if that Legion goes, that certainly puts a pretty big damper on the R.E.P.O team. They don't have a whole lot left on the field, so the chance of them pulling out a win is, fairly remote at this point, but it is still possible. I mean, we certainly saw a great fight as the Navy Raven goes down. We saw a great fight, with the Laconian Syndicate, where the hero Tengu was able to stay alive right until the very end and actually turn the tide of the fight for what looked like an incredible win. So there is that possibility of the Legion and the Abaddon doing that today, although it's pretty unlikely.
No, it looks like that Legion is buffer tanked in structure and dead. So it's just the Abaddon remaining against the Thrasher, the Basilisk, and the two Tengus, and rather unlikely that he's going to be able to solo all of those down, especially after what we saw a single Tengu do to 4 battle cruisers last week.
Oh yeah, and those Tengus are doing the right thing. They're trying to hold at range. That way you don't have to worry too much about getting the damage from the Abaddon. The Basilisk also holding out at pretty long range. Yeah, I mean, both of the Tengus have spread out and are sitting somewhere around 50 km from the Abaddon, which means that he's not going to have an easy time getting any DPS onto them, even if he switches to long-range ammo. And, obviously being cruisers, they're faster, more maneuverable, and will be able to hold range basically outside the Abaddon's ability to either lock or shoot them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just lost the Basilisk. The Thrasher is, however, staying in close on that Abaddon. No web effects on him that I'm able to see, but he may be scrambled. I'm not sure if he's running. Actually, and he's switched to Scorch. But I can't... Okay, there we go. Back to multi-frequency. He's actually trying to shoot the Thrasher, which is rather close to him, and he's not doing a lot of damage as a result, because he's just about out of armor. Gonna sink in a structure, and then it's gonna be once again a short trip back home.
Yeah, and that Thrasher doing a really good job of keeping the Abaddon webbed and keeping him in his position, so that even if he were able to try and close distance and force the Tengus out to the very edge of the arena, that they would be able to move before he could get into range and do a whole lot. He is shooting a little bit. It looks like he actually just got off a couple shots at one of the Tengus.
Yeah. He's switched to Scorch now and is firing on one of those Tengus, kind of as a last protest, I suppose. But going down fighting, which is how you always want your ships to go down in Eve, and but Oh, well, the structure's not dropping quite as fast as I thought it should be, but it is going down slowly but surely, and he will be out in just a moment, and we will see the red team win for the first time today, as the Abaddon does in fact pop.
Well, all right, Manifest Destiny pulling it out, even though the Hero Badger did not survive, so we're going to go ahead and pass it back to Uncle Soundwave.